What's up, fight fans? And I'm back at it with another one here on another edition of Round 1 Sports Talk. I would like to go over some of the most interesting fights that are coming up. And one of the biggest fights, I believe, in our current time today is the Naoya and Stephen Fulton fight. So, without further ado, like always, let's get right into the video. Okay. A lot of things and a lot of rumors and speculations are going around about this fight coming up. This highly anticipated matchup between Stephen Fulton, Scooter, and Naoya Inoue, the Monster. Now, let's talk about the fighters. Naoya Inoue's record right now, he is currently ranked in the world #1. Now, that ranking comes from 118 pounds. His current record is 24 fights with 21 wins by knockout. Okay? He used to be the unanimous undisputed champion at 118 pounds, where he held all 4 belts. The WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO. Okay. He's from Japan. He turned pro at 19 years old. If you didn't know this, he is trained by his father. Okay. Now, he has had, up to this point, a Hall of Fame career. So let's break down what he has accomplished real quick. Naoya Inoue turned pro at 19 years old. He told his management and his promotion he didn't want to waste any time, and he wanted to contend for a world title as quickly as possible. So, on his very first fight, he fought a man that, as a professional, already had numerous of professional fights, right? Okay. From that point on, you can see that Naoya Inoue was a very highly talented fighter, and that he was well-rounded, and he, like every fighter in the beginning of his career, he had work to do. Now, Stephen Fulton is an American fighter, and he comes from Philadelphia. Okay? He comes from the mean streets of Philadelphia, that where we know that some people can come out of the ghettos of Philadelphia, and what do you have there? Crimes, murders, and this is where Stephen Fulton grew up around. And it was very easy for him to fall into the pitfalls of life and not decide to become a boxer. But at an early age, he made a decision when that he was going to become a boxer. His father was incarcerated, and when upon his release, he introduced his son to the sport of boxing. So, Stephen Fulton's record is 21 fights, 8 big wins by knockout. And he is currently the WBO and the WBC champion at 122 pounds. And when he came out in his professional career, it's good. I'm going to note this right now. Both fighters, Stephen Fulton and Naoya Inoue, both of these men, if you did not know this, failed to make the Olympic team. That is correct. These two guys are the guys that failed to make the Olympic team. Naoya Inoue tried to make the Olympic team to represent his country, Japan, and he did not make the Olympic team. And Stephen Fulton did as well for America, and he also did not make the Olympic team. Huh? And what are the Olympics and the people and the coaches are saying now about these two men? And the guys that did make it ahead of them, where are they at right now in their careers? I would like to know that. Anyway, so Stephen Fulton, if you did not know this, on his first professional fight, he was signed. On his second professional fight, Stephen Fulton was dropped in that fight. He's already been knocked down in his professional career. Naoya Inoue hasn't even gotten a standing 8 count. He's never been knocked down, nothing. Now, that's pretty big. I was going to say that maybe that doesn't, but no, that's pretty big. You know, it shows that Stephen Fulton didn't come out the gate a polished fighter like Naoya Inoue. Now, as we go on, there's going to be a lot of things being said about both fighters. And in social media, a lot of rumors and speculations and opinions are being thrown around. And I start to question and wonder, are these people actually supporting boxing? Or are they trying to destroy it? Are they going to try to get you to tune into the fight? Or are they trying to get you to say, oh, this guy, they're telling me that he's highly skilled and this one's now matched. I might as well not with the fight because according to these people, this guy's just going to beat him, walk him through. That's not true. I report boxing, and this boxing match right here is probably one of the biggest boxing matches I've been waiting for a very long time. Now, they're going to try to tell you that the Naoya Inoue is allegedly on some boxing protective list. Now, I do have to admit that in the sport of boxing, they protect some fighters and guide them throughout their career. But what do you want them to do in the sport? I need not to remind you that boxing is a business disguised as a sport. Now, this is a business that are promoting these boxers, and they're trying to get them at levels in their career. And because you're not that boxer, you're going to hate on him and say he's on a protective list. Now, there have been boxers throughout the course of history of boxing that have been criticized for ducking opponents, okay? And that happens all the time in the sport of boxing. I like to tell you right now, Naoya Inoue is not one of those guys. He's not ducking anyone, okay? Now, if you didn't know this, okay, Naoya Inoue, as he was moving up through the divisions, he was criticized for not fighting Black American fighters, right? In the Corona epidemic, Naoya Inoue was coming down to Madison Square Garden, right? He wanted to fight a world-class opponent. No one would sign on the dotted line. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, one of the men that denied the fight, would not take the fight against Naoya Inoue. Okay? Now, it's not like a lack of trying, but none of the Black American fighters in his division had belts at that time. Okay? So, he was only going after champion, legacy fights. Okay? So let's break down what kind of champion Naoya Inoue truly is so that you can get an understanding of what this man kind of did. He's the first Japanese fighter in the history of boxing to win 2 titles and within 8 fights. He became a 2-division world champion by his 8th professional fight. Now that is a remarkable feat in itself. So, by the time he fought Jamie McDonald at 118 pounds, I need not remind you that he started his career at 108. Naoya Inoue started his career at 108. So, by the time that he got up to 118 pounds and he fought Jamie McDonald, and that was the first belt that he won at 118 pounds. He dominated that division and captured all 4 titles. Stephen Kubo Fulton is a young champion. He's only won 2 belts at 122 pounds. 2 real world titles at 122 pounds. He only has 4 title fights. Now, Stephen Kubo Fulton is a very skilled and impressive fighter. In fact, I believe that in his division right now, he could possibly unify all 4 belts. He's that good, and he's only getting better. You see, sometimes when I view fights and fighters, you would like to view the fighter on their last performances because that's what, that's how you judge a fighter. You're like, well, then if he looked like this against this guy, But every time you see your fighter, the next time you see your fighter, you should see a better version of that fighter. Okay? So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the best version of Scooter I have ever seen. And I'm also expecting the best version of Naoya Inoue. And speaking of which, I recently looked up the injury on Naoya Inoue. And from what I'm being told, it was a knee injury. He hurt his knee. And that it wasn't that severe, and that his knee is better, and that everything is on schedule. So it wasn't his hands, it was his knee. Okay. So that being said, do I think that the injury is going to play a factor into this fight? I don't think so. I don't think Naoya Inoue's camp is going to let him perform if he can't. I understand that every athlete goes into a fight not 100%. You know, in this business, the fight game business, you know, I don't believe that everybody's always 100%. And like I said, in this business, this is not a game. Boxing is not a game. Meaning, basketball is a game. Baseball is a game. Hockey is a game. You know what I'm saying? Boxing is not a game. And the thing that separates boxing from all of these sports and does not make it a game, you can't play boxing. You go in there playing boxing, you're going to get hurt. Okay? And what makes boxing separated from all the other sports, and as an American, I have a tendency of viewing boxing equal to all the other sports. Meaning that when you play basketball, baseball, hockey, you know, you play against, in America, you see, you're only competing against, we're competing against ourselves in the NBA Finals. We're competing against ourselves in the World Series. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, when we view it, we're always going against each other for our favorite athlete. But boxing is a global sport. It's kind of like the Olympics. You represent your country. You don't play boxing. I mean, you know, it's not a game. And what separates us from every other sport is a very simple thing. It's this right here. Time out. If you're able to say time out in a sport and halt the action, you're playing a game. You're playing a game. In any sport that you can go like this, you're playing a game. In boxing, when your champion is against the rope, getting his face punched in, you cannot go, time out, I want a breather, I need to talk to my guy. Or I want to sub my guy in. You can't do that. From the moment the bell rings, the only time you are able to sit down is in between rounds. And that's the rules. That's it. Other than that, you get one shot, one night, and no timeouts. You're on your own. That's it. And that's why this is not a game. And then when I view my champions, I view my American champions. Let me tell you something right now. I want to break this down. I want to be perfectly honest. American champions and black champions, Puerto Rican champions, because let's not forget that Puerto Rico is part of America. So when I speak of American champions, Puerto Rican champions are in that conversation. Okay? I would never, ever, ever turn my back on American champions. Black champions, Puerto Rican champions, white champions, never. They have done too much for the sport of boxing for me to turn around and just shit on a black American fighter, because some of these guys over here are being real race-based YouTube channels, and it's sad that they're using that to get views and use that as their narrative. I'm not going to play that card. I respect fighters and men and women that dare to be great. Any man and woman that laces up those gloves and gets in that ring on national TV and takes the risk of getting knocked out and becoming a meme in front of all their friends and loved ones and family, bro, hats off to you, because not all of you can do that. It's easy to say you'll do that. Let me see you do it. You know? So, you know, as far as boxing goes, I'm never going to be the one that is motivated by hate and being biased towards fighters. I report boxing, and I'm going to report boxing the way that I believe it should be reported. So with that being said, I'm not going to use any, oh, he never fought black fighters narrative. No, a man is a man. Whether you're black, white, Chinese, Russian, a man is a man. You might be more skilled or faster or quicker, or, you know, you might have the stigma of black athletes being more athletic. But I remember being in school and picking the black kid that couldn't play basketball. So, and he was like, just because I'm black, doesn't mean I can play basketball. You see? So, just because he hasn't fought a black American fighter doesn't mean he can't fight. That's ridiculous. So, what I'm saying is that I enjoy the sport. I love boxing. I love combat. I love hand-to-hand fighting. Okay? And right now, you know, you're going to hear a lot all over social media. They're going to say a lot of things, but I'm here to promote this fight right here. And make no mistake, if you want to see a highly skilled boxing match, you want to see true fighters in their prime, not like Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, and I'm not shitting on their fight, although that is a legendary fight right there. You know, it's easily probably the biggest fight of the year, you know, as in glamour divisions, because they are in a glamour division. Naoya Inoue and Stephen Fulton are in a lower division, which in fact, the reason why we're watching this fight is because Naoya Inoue has been knocking out so many people in an impressive fashion that eyes have tuned in to their division. Had it not been for men like that, we probably wouldn't even be saying his name. Okay, so Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., yes, it is a big fight. You know, and there's a lot on the line on that night. You know, histories could be made on that night. So, you know, and I could see why. And shit, I know it's the biggest fight it is. But I'm also here to promote other fighters and to show love to the smaller guys that are highly skilled. You know what I'm saying? And they need no introduction, or because these two guys are in the prime of their career. Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford's 35 years old now. And if shall he lose, that's what they're going to use as a narrative, that he was 35 years old and that they were past their prime. That we should have got that fight 5 years ago. That's what fight fans and a lot of people on either side, when either man loses, those are going to be the narratives that they use why those men lost. But not in this fight right here. Both of these fighters are in their prime right now. And both of these fighters are the best in their division right now. You know, listen, let me tell you something right now. If Stephen Fulton beats Naoya Inoue, I got no problem getting on and saying he beat the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he beat the monster. He dethroned the monster. He's a monster slayer. I will give him his flowers and his props because, damn it, a monster you guys said he was, and a monster he needs to be after Stephen Fulton beats him. But now, there's a flip side to that coin. If Naoya Inoue beats Stephen Fulton, then a monster he is. And damn it, if you guys you guys need to give him his credit and his flowers and show that in our sport that we support the best of the best. Not because of your skin color. Just because he's Japanese doesn't mean that, you know, look at case in point. I'll make a point right here. If you were to build a fighter and I was to say, Stephen Fulton. If Stephen Fulton was a 3-division world champion, had 19 successful title defenses, and had all 4 belts in his division, and he cleaned out his division, he's undefeated, and he's never been knocked out in his career, would I say that he's a trash fighter? Would the black dudes on all over those social media network channels, would they say that Stephen Fulton is a nobody and that he fought nobody? Would they? Would they? If he had that kind of credential, what would they say about him? You see, that's my problem I have with a lot of these YouTube channels. That they're looking past Naoya's body of work. They're not giving him any credit or acknowledgement for the things that he has accomplished in the sport of boxing. For God's sake, this man is on the verge of writing history. He's going in a direction that most men could not do. You know, the great Manny Pacquiao for 8 divisions, you guys praise him so much. Did Manny Pacquiao ever own all 4 belts in any weight division? I'll wait. Did he conquer 2 of those divisions and successfully get all 4 belts? Naoya Inoue is on pace on destroying these guys' career, and he hasn't even finished. The reason why we can't put him next to these men yet, because technically his career is not at an end. We want to see where his ceiling is. How far does he take this? How many divisions does he conquer? You know? And a lot of people, I made a video about the 4 pounds and the difference between 4 pounds. And some people say, well, 4 pounds ain't going to make a difference. Well, I'm trying to tell you that it is. It really is. Now, and a lot of people helped me. There was a lot of my subscribers that sent me good information and told me that Naoya Inoue walks around at 130 and that at 133. And they told me about multiple fighters that came in heavier. And as you can see, look at how the fighters weigh in on those nights. So, let's get back to the schedule of boxing. Okay. July 8th, we have Jerron Boots Ennis, and then the 15th, we got Frank the Ghost Martin, I believe. Now, that is a good move for Jerron Boots Ennis because it keeps the fans fresh. I just said this on one of my interviews that a lot of people weren't even bringing up Jerron Boots Ennis' name. But by him fighting before Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, shall he be successful and beat that guy? That's going to keep his name in that fight, the way he performs, the outcome of that fight. Like, let's say he goes in there and he knocks this guy brutally, like in the first, second round. So now he's got the momentum. They finish their fight. He can get in the ring on that night, and approach one of the men. Or if the men say, because in the Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford fight, there is a rematch clause on both sides. So they have 30 days after the fight to enforce the rematch. Whoever loses, if he shall choose to want to take the rematch. Because Canelo Alvarez had a rematch clause against Bivol, and he didn't, for some reason, he didn't enforce the rematch clause. I don't know why. He shook. Anyway, so, there could be a rematch, or like Errol Spence Jr. said, it looks like he might just move up to 154. Win, lose, or draw, I don't think he's going to, I think he wants to just move up. Hats off to the Charlo twins for securing the fight with Canelo Alvarez. I believe that fight is a done deal. That's signed. Iron Man Charlo, out of the 2 brothers, sometimes one brother looks good and then the other brother doesn't look so good. And then the brother that I thought was good that has a shady performance, and the brother that I thought was weaker, he's dropping people. So it really, really goes to show that styles make fights. The style of opponent that's in front of you. But I do believe that the Charlo brother, Canelo Alvarez is not stupid, man. He is not stupid. And the Charlo brother has to move up 2 divisions to fight him at 168. Canelo Alvarez knows what he's doing. He really does, man. Like his management and everything, the way they pick their fights and cherry pick some of these fighters, and they study how long the Charlo twin was out. Like, one brother couldn't take it, and the other brother's been out for 2 years. So they were like, we got him. We can fight him right in here. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, their team is not stupid at all. But I think that Charlo twin is young enough, skilled enough. And I think that he knows this is the fight. This is the one. So hopefully he's in there double timing it on this for this fight. That stands to be a really, really good fight right there. So, let's see how the ending of 2003 and if we can see any of these fighters back in the ring. Shakur Stevenson denied a 70-30 split to fight Devin Haney. Well, it was a 75-25. It was 75-25 is what he denied. And I think he should take a 70-30. He should go back and renegotiate and take a 70-30 because in actuality, Shakur Stevenson isn't bringing anything to the table, right? He's not bringing the belt. Devin Haney has all 4 belts. Devin Haney has fought on pay-per-view. Shakur Stevenson never fought on pay-per-view. Okay? And even though Shakur Stevenson did have 3 belts in the lower weight division, it's not like Shakur Stevenson is a global superstar that's making millions of dollars in pay-per-view sales. No, that's not the case. But Devin Haney is. Okay? So, another fighter that took a 70-30 split to dare to be great, if you didn't know this, the great Floyd Mayweather took a 70-30 split against Oscar De La Hoya, if you didn't know that. Oscar De La Hoya put Floyd Mayweather through the ringer in that fight. He picked everything. Oscar De La Hoya picked the event, the gloves, the venue. Oscar De La Hoya took 70% of the money grossed, and he gave Floyd Mayweather 30% of that. And Floyd Mayweather said, you know what? It's not about the money. It's about daring to be great. And I know if I beat this man, that then I'll take the throne. And he was right. He was right. He took a 70-30 split, beat Oscar De La Hoya, and the rest is history. We all know the story, right? Okay. So I believe that Shakur Stevenson should go back to the negotiation table if he truly wanted to fight Devin Haney and say, yo, 25 might be a little low, but I'll take a 70-30 split to bust your ass and take all them 4 belts. You know what I'm saying? Because if I believe if anybody can do it, it's Shakur Stevenson. So with that fight with that fight being, him not taking the contract, sending bottles, talk about sign the contract, but he didn't sign the contract. Well, it is what it is. That's boxing for you. Tank Davis being incarcerated. From what I know, he's still in jail. He hasn't been released yet. I haven't checked on him either. I don't know about, I haven't checked on him. But, look, fight fans, I love boxing and I love pumping up boxing. On this channel right here, you're not going to hear me putting down boxing. I'm a little confused with the rest of these channels because I try to think about what is their strategy and their method. Are they destroying boxing? Or are they trying to promote boxing? Are they trying to boost these fighters up? Or are they trying to bash one fighter to kind of deter you or turn you off from watching the fight? Tell it like it is. These 2 men are at the prime in their careers. Stephen Kubo Fulton and Naoya Inoue. And they are world champions about to meet. And what do you guys mean that these guys haven't fought anybody? They're about to fight each other, ain't they? Right? Wouldn't this be considered that fight where you say, now you got big names on your record? That's exactly what they're doing. But you're not allowing them to do that. You're bashing them for every other fighter that they did not fight or did fight. Well, here we are. You got it. Both of them. 2 big names. 2 young, up-and-coming boxers. And 2 world champions ready to collide. And they're going to put it all on the line. July 25th. Please tune in. Like, subscribe. Click the bell icon. And let me know what you think about all the things I talked about in the video. That's all I have for you today, fight fans. And I'm back at it with another one on the next video. Peace.